Hi friends and family, this is Florida Plant Mama coming to you from Zone 10A, Central Florida. On today's video vlog, I'm going to be sharing something that I think is very important. I'm going to be showing you some of the challenges that I've faced in my garden. I've watched thousands of YouTube videos, and the one thing that I notice and can be quite discouraging, I think, is if you watch a bunch of videos and all of the gardeners seem to be experts, and in their videos, their garden just look perfect all the time. Nothing ever dies, nothing ever fails, whatever they plant flourishes so well. I'm here to tell you, that's not the truth of the matter. The garden is a work in progress. There are so many challenges. Sometimes you can have every single thing you need. Every condition is met for this plant to do wonderfully, and it just decides to go kaput on you. There's no rhyme or reason. Sometimes you just gotta be flexible and flow with it. I just want to show you some of my challenges and how I plan to overcome them. And I wanted to show you some of the not so pleasant tasks that occur in my garden on a regular basis. Join me. You go ahead and sit back and relax while I work hard and sweat for your entertainment. Thanks for watching. First of all, we've got to remove, sadly, a dead tree. This is my Jamaican strawberry tree, otherwise known as a mutinja. This makes a very small, sweet, delicious cotton candy flavored fruit, and it's usually pretty prolific when it's not dead, that is. I don't seem to be having much luck with these trees. This is, I think, my third one. The first two I got were really, really small, and this one I purchased, I think it was less than a year ago. And it did fine throughout the winter in the pot, and that's usually, that's what's killed my Jamaican strawberry trees in the past. But this one was doing well. It was thriving. It thrived through the winter. I managed to keep it alive, and then maybe about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, it just went kaput. It died on me. I'm not quite sure why, but I am going to remove it from this pot. And I'm going to move this absolutely beautiful I lost the name for that thing. What is it called? I can't remember the name of that. The old memory isn't what it used to be. I'm going to remove these marigolds. Ah, remember. I'm going to remove the dirt from the root, and I'm going to fill the pot back up with dirt, and I'm going to use the pot for something else. I don't think I'm going to be repurchasing this particular tree because it is the third time I've tried to grow this tree, and it has just not worked for me. A little gladiolus that has anchored itself in this pot. I must have dropped this corm and didn't even realize it. I'll replant that. It still has beautiful roots. So the first year it died. I planted it outside, wrong time. So I said, okay, it was my fault. I bought another tree. And that one I kept in a pot, and it died during a cold snap. I covered it, but it died anyway. This tree was doing really, really well. I decided to keep it in a pot because first year is cold sensitive. A sisu spinach made its way to the pot. Yes, that will be replanted as well. It's got a good root system and a weed. So sisu spinach. Anywho, I kept it in a pot. It did well all winter. I brought it into the garage during the cold snaps, and then I don't know, maybe about a month ago, 2 months ago, it started losing all its leaves. I thought maybe it was stressed out, and I moved its position a bit, and it just didn't work, and now it's dead. Again, I don't think I'm going to purchase it again not because I don't love the plant, because I really do. Okay, this marigold here, I am going to put somewhere else. It also has a lovely root system. I don't want to lose this beautiful flower. It smells divine. So I'll relocate that as well. I'm the only one in the household who enjoys this fruit. I don't know why. I love it. My husband said it makes his throat itch. The kids don't really want to try it. They don't think it tastes like cotton candy. I think it's an amazing little fruit. It tastes great, but it doesn't make sense for me to own a tree for a third time with the failures that I've had when no one else in the home enjoys the fruit. And if I get another one and it actually does well, I won't be able to eat all of the fruit because it would be quite prolific. And they don't really store very well. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna give up on my Matinja plant. Good news is I believe I got this from Lucas and it's been under a year. And so I should be able to return it and get half my money back. So that's one benefit from buying it from a store with a return policy as opposed to one of the private nurseries. I mean, you pay more for it typically on the front end, but if it dies, you've got some assurances. And with plants, you just never know when they're gonna die. So especially if it's an expensive tree, I like to get it where I can recoup some of the losses if I kill the tree. So that's it. Another strawberry tree done. It's pretty sad, but I'm gonna reuse the soil. I'm going to replace the little hitchhikers that have grown in the pot. I don't think they were the cause of the tree's death. Its root system, I mean, it doesn't, they're a little brown, so maybe it rotted in this pot. They're supposed to be nice and white like that, but we've got some knobbly looking brown roots, so maybe that was the cause. At any rate, it's dead. Time to move on. All right, this area is looking pretty ratty right now. This area started out beautifully. I loved it, but it's taking a bit of a turn and I'm not quite sure I like the direction it's going. The lavender doesn't like it here. I don't even know what this is anymore. Oh, this is the Crespidea. It's looking pretty ratty. The other one has died. And we have here the Bright Lights purple, what was it? Purple coneflower, I think it was. It didn't fare well either. So things don't always go well. Oh look, there goes the other lavender plant. It's looking pretty pitiful too. This is proof that things don't always go well in the yard. So you've got to just make some adjustments. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and transplant some of the plants that I have removed from the pots. I think they'll do a lot better in this area. So I'm gonna revamp this space just a bit. I'm taking a risk. It's pretty hot outside, but it's been raining pretty much every day, so I'm hoping the plants reestablish. So here's a look after it's been cleaned up a bit. Outdoor seed starting didn't go very well for me this season. It was just cold for too long, and then hot too quickly, and then dry for too long. This is supposed to be a container of wildflowers and carnations. I don't think this is carnations. I think we've got primarily weeds growing in this pot. I haven't done the plant identification, but this is definitely a challenge. Growing seeds and being unable to figure out what you've grown because you don't know what they look like when they're seedlings. This bed was doing wonderful at the beginning of the season for the spring. I had calendula. You remember when I was picking those calendula? Everything was so nice, full, and lush. I'd say it just didn't do as expected. And I'm not going to get discouraged because everything has a season, and the calendula just did not like the dry, hot of this May. So they had to be pulled out because they stopped producing. And on top of that, can you see how much the soil in this bed has dropped? So I am having a dilemma here. This is my very old thyme plant, which is still thriving, and a couple new ones that I put in last season. They are also doing wonderfully, and the sage is happy here, and the tarragon is happy here. These onions have also been here forever, but I need to refill this bed, and I'm afraid to disturb these plants yet again. The more you move things, I think the more chance you have of stressing them out and causing their demise, and I just don't want to do that, especially my thyme plant. So I have to decide what I'm going to do, and am I just going to fill this section and leave this section as is, or just fill it as much as possible around the edges? I don't know yet. Dilemmas. This area right here is supposed to be part of the herb garden, and it is completely overgrown with the balloon flower and the pentas. We do have a little bit of anise hyssop in here. That's done well, but there's supposed to be yarrow and there's supposed to be feverfew, and I can't see any of it because the other plants have taken over. Same thing here with the sisu. The sisu was supposed to be one tiny little patch, but it's decided to spread a lot further than I wanted it. So as you can see, sometimes an overabundance of things can be just as big of a problem as not growing enough. This little area was supposed to be where my butternut squash and a couple of Seminole pumpkins and my roselle would grow and sprawl over the ground. I've got one butternut squash here. The rest have found their demise. I did plant some more pumpkins, Seminole pumpkins and butternut squash, so you can see that they are coming up. I decided to give it another try later in the season because this area gets a little bit of shade, and I was hoping that they'd enjoy the space a lot better once the rains came. The roselle are coming in. They're coming in. I've got to stake them up here because they're kind of flopping over, as you can see, but they're coming in. Okay, here is the pepper section. As you can see, I've covered it because the sun was scorching and my peppers did not like it. This has helped, but I think I put it on too late. So we still have the peppers, but the peppers are pretty scraggly this year. Pretty scraggly. I got way too many empty bags here. I cleaned up this area, removed the dead and spent plants. I was supposed to be working on succession planting this season, doing a better job of it. Yeah, I did not do a very good job. This pepper's doing fantastic. It's supposed to be a poblano pepper, but guess what? That's not a poblano pepper. That looks like a Scotch bonnet pepper. I've got a basil here, but this was supposed to be a pot full of perilla. Instead, I've got this I don't know what growing in here, along with a volunteer basil. Strawberries. I had just scant strawberries this season. I've got this volunteer here, ground cherry. I didn't necessarily want this ground cherry here, but it's actually doing better than the ground cherries that I have planted, which the ground cherries were another challenge this year. I moved the pot and the ground cherries died. But fortunately, this one decided to volunteer here, so I still got something for my troubles. All of my trellises have been a challenge this season. As you can see, they're all overgrown, and I was supposed to be keeping them neat. That's the garlic bed, guys. Do you see any garlic? I see one pitiful garlic stem and a couple more over here and maybe one down there. Garlic did miserably. This is the elephant garlic. There were supposed to be cucumbers here and feverfew. If you could call that a cucumber. It's looking pretty rough, and these seedlings have been this size for about a month. I told you all about my cucumber and my pumpkin and squash challenges. Well, this is what we've got. I still haven't harvested any fruit from this cucumber vine here, or this one. And you can see they're wilting in the sun. I've been out here for 5 minutes and I'm sweating. Empty bags, empty bags. Those are challenges. Keeping the bags filled all season is a major challenge. Weeds are my other challenge. Okay, and I come to this turmeric and ginger bed. This has been a challenge. I put them in. I've got pieces of ginger and turmeric all over, and this is all that sprouted. I'm happy with what I got, but I still consider it a challenge. But at least it's right next to the ornamental ginger that is blooming and absolutely making my day. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It is so pretty. Ground cherries started out strong, failed. This pot here was supposed to have my chamomile in it, but it does not. Instead, it has this beautiful weed. I love the weed. I just did not want it to overtake my chamomile bag. So there are no chamomile in here anymore. So that is a fail. No chamomile. I do have a little bit of chamomile over in this section that has done much better. So at least I've got something. There's my chamomile. It's been too hot for it to flower, but it is alive. And again, we've got this wayward passion flower. See, the blooming is about to happen. They are spectacular when they bloom. But there's a chamomile. The bananas, y'all. Look at these bananas. I'm afraid to even touch them because they are so soft and mushy. I am having to take them out of this garage because they are now collecting fruit flies in here. And my husband is having a conniption over that. Oh my God, they're so soft. They are so soft and mushy that my daughter doesn't even want to make the banana bread that she planned to make. I overestimated how many I thought we would consume as they ripened. And so I've got super, super, super ripe bananas. And I am essentially discarding this rack. Sometimes things do well, and sometimes through no fault of your own, they just don't. So what do? I am going to put that lavender in the compost bin, and I am going to decide if I want to get another lavender plant, and I'm going to do it all again.